overcovering, then you're running around trying to escape. Right? كَلَّا لَا وَزَرْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ يَوْمَئِذٍ الْمُسْتَقَرْ. There's people trying to find a place to hide, something that they can find some kind of refuge in, and they're exhausting themselves doing so. Then we know on the Day of Judgment we have to stand for a really long time in a laborsome kind of way and answer a lot of questions. This is an exhausting activity, so amila is used. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu says, this state of them being exhausted is because they did not work in dunya. In this dunya, they did not do the works, the actions that Allah had demanded of them. And they exhausted themselves in things other than dunya, other than Islam, for dunya itself. So you will have, we're not the only ones who work hard to provide for a family, right? One time this Christian monk came to Umar radiallahu anhu, and he was very old. You could tell he has given his life in worship, in Christian worship. And Umar radiallahu anhu saw him and he started crying. And the Sahaba asked him, why are you crying? What made you cry? And he looked at the Christian monk and he said, "Amilatun nasiba." This monk has exhausted his labor, worked hours and hours and hours of a day, years and years of his life, given up his youth for a kind of worship that Allah will not accept. How sad is that state? So he felt sorry enough to cry for that person. SubhanAllah. Right? So this is the idea of amila, false worship. People are engaged in false worship. Another kind of amal that people engage ourselves, this is the kind of worship we do nowadays, where the messenger cursed, Ta'isa abdul dinar wa abdul dirham, right? May the slave of the literally dollar and cent, right? Dinar and dirham, may they be destroyed. We give our entire lives to work. We give them up to work. You go to work, you're concentrated on expanding your career and making it higher and higher up the corporate ladder. You're on vacation, you're talking to people about work. Even when you bring work at home, you take work to work and you bring it at home. Your whole life becomes work. You're working, and the only you talk to an engineer, all they want to talk about is engineering stuff. Even when they're not at the office, you talk to an accountant, man, taxes this year, right? That's what they want to talk about. You talk to somebody in medicine, that's all they want to talk about is medicine. Right? Their careers become so much so, and some psychologists say, you are what you do. Right? So they become just that. You ask them, who are you or what are you? They'll say, I'm an accountant, or I'm a teacher, or I'm a physician. No, I'm a human being, I'm a Muslim. Right? There are other things you are. This is just a small part of what you are. Right? But you just identify yourselves as that, and that becomes you. And so all you have to show for yourself is advancement in this career. You've built this empire in a business. Or you've built your name, your reputation with this tenure in this company, right? Or you've waited all the way to this top level executive position. And you're tired after all those years. People destroy their marriages before family, right? For their careers. People lose touch with their children. Their children rebel and leave the home. The only reason they come to their parents is because their parents are a good cash register for them, right? All for what? What are their lives gone in? They're gone in work. And now they come before Allah on the Day of Judgment. You figure when you die, now it's time to rest. That's why in English even they say, rest in peace. But these people are raised exhausted. They are raised, amila. Their faces are still exhausted. And what is ahead of them? Can you imagine? These disbelieving people who gave preference to worldly life didn't even enjoy dunya. They were working 70 hours a week, 50 hours a week, commuting half of their lives, they spent half their lives stuck in traffic in a car, right? Just exhausting themselves, and now they're tired. Now they're standing in front of Allah. Guess what? That was vacation compared to what is coming. Now they have to stand in front of Allah. Now they have to head into the hellfire. But are they prepared physically to be ready for that? Now Allah says, now the human being will be informed. What did he make a priority out of? And what did he put on the back burner? That's the translation I'll prefer here. Bima qaddama, what did he give priority to? What took taqdeem for him? What was priority number one? What took precedence? وَمَا أَخَّرَ, and what could wait? What were the things that you put on the back burner? The crime of the human being isn't necessarily that he doesn't do a good deed. The human being says, it can wait. I can do it later. The crime of the human being isn't necessarily that he doesn't leave sin. He says, I'll leave it later. Or, let me do what I want right now. I'll do that later. I have time. Taqdeem and ta'khir, not the grammar one. The one for life. Human beings will be thoroughly informed. What were your priorities? What did you put ahead? What came first for you? What came later for you? Bima qaddama wa akhar. The other meaning of qaddama wa akhar in Tafsir Juz Amma I mentioned also,
Qaddama also means what you've sent forward. You've done deeds, you've done works, and every one of them are waiting for you. Our deeds are waiting for us. Kullu nafsin bima kasabat rahina. You've sent collateral over. You've sent deeds over for processing. And you're going to meet those deeds on Judgment Day. I don't meet my deeds now, I just do them now. I will meet them then. وَوَجَدُوا مَا عَمِلُوا حَاضِرًا. Then you're standing face to face in front of their salahs. If your salat was lousy, you'll be standing in front of a lousy salat, staring right at you. That's what it's going to be. If you were lying, cheating, backbiting, angry, arrogant, condescending, whatever you were, you'll be looking right at you in the face. And then you're going to say, Mali hadal kitab. That's the reality of it. Bima qaddama wa akhar. What did he make a priority out of? What did he put on the back burner? This is one of those life-transforming ayat. The human being will be thoroughly informed. This was your priority. This is what you spent time on. This is what you did with your free time. This is what you thought can wait. You had all these dreams. I want to memorize the Qur'an. What did you do for it? How many seasons of how many TV shows did you watch instead? That was a priority for you. What you wanted to memorize? Oh, but it can wait though. Inshallah, one day, when my heart is purified, then I shall start. You know? بِمَا قَدَّمَ وَأَخَرْ بَلِ الْإِنسَانِ. No. Yes, on that day the human being will be given thorough news, but it's not like the human being's blind now. Rather, the case is that the human being, عَلَى نَفْسِهِ, against his own self, بَصِيرًا, is fully insightful. There is one person that knows so much about you, and nobody else knows about you. And besides Allah, and that's you. You have an insight into who you are, what your flaws are, what your limitations are, what your capabilities are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what opportunities you avail, what opportunities you get lazy about. You know that about yourself more than anybody else. And you and I decide to lie to ourselves. We just decide we're not going to have an honest conversation with ourselves, and about ourselves with Allah. We don't want to have that honest conversation. For some people, all they want at the end of their life, what is success to them? Maybe I'll own a house. That's success for them. Maybe if I have this much money, that means I have success. Maybe if I got married to this one or that one, maybe that means I have success. But I go back to what I started with. There are some people who are happy with doing just the minimum. Just the minimum. But I'm here to tell you, the young people in the audience today, Allah has blessed you, and I'm telling you, He expects great things from you. He does not expect the minimum from you. There are so many Muslims, the only thing left of Islam is their name. That's the only thing left. They don't care about salat, they don't care about halal and haram. They're far from this deen. What can I do to further this deen? What can I do I shouldn't just be happy that so many people come and attend Jumu'ah. Does that mean everybody's heart is clean? Does that mean that we don't need any more reminder? Is that what that means? Or are there evils in our society? Are there youth that are turning towards drugs? Are there young people that are just living their life for no purpose? All they do is play video games and watch movies and go to sleep. And if you ask them for a purpose, they say, I want to graduate and get a job. Is that a goal? Get a job? Allah gave us such higher goals. Your job itself is a means to a higher end. But you know what? We are living in strange times. The people who need the da'wah the most today are the Muslims themselves. But even if you get a good job, but you don't do your job. You got the job, but you show up late every day. You got the job, but you don't finish any projects. You're sitting there at the desk wasting your time. You're going to lose that job. Somebody else will come and do it for you. You will not keep that job even if you qualified. Qualifications are not enough. You have to do the work. Allah Azza wa Jal is giving all of us, He's already qualified us. We are people of La ilaha illallah. We are already qualified. But that doesn't mean we're doing the work. If we don't do the work, if we don't concern ourselves, if we don't care, then you know what's going to happen. إِن تَتَوَلَّوْا يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَكُونُوا أَمْثَالَكُمْ. You turn away and Allah will replace you with a nation other than yourselves, and they will not be like you. They will not be lazy like you. And those are when young Muslim people have real iman, When young Muslims have real strength in their belief, then they have the power to change the world. They have the power to make the world a better place. But when young Muslim people don't have real iman, they don't have real conviction, then they are a waste of space. They are a waste of society, a waste of a generation. The only thing in their life, the most important thing in their life is, when is the next movie coming out? The most important thing is, when is the next iPhone coming out? The next most important thing is, man, I wish I had that car. That's it. Your life doesn't go any further than that. My teacher used to say that Islam is similar to climbing a mountain. You know, when you're climbing a mountain, you throw a hook and you climb. If you throw a hook not very high, then you will only reach that much. You can't reach any further. If your goal is money, if your goal is a six-pack, if your goal is a car, if your goal is a promotion, if your goal is entertainment, if your goal is girls, whatever your goal is, then you're only going to get that. You won't get anything else. But if your goal is something higher, to serve something more than yourself, you don't live a selfish life. You want to live for the sake of Allah and for the benefit of others. That's how you want to live. Then you will benefit yourself definitely, but you will be honored in the eyes of Allah because you set your goal much higher. Our deen, in this beautiful ayah, Allah Azza wa Jal describes it, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي. This is my path. As-sabil is a path. And you know what? Allah did not say in this ayah, قُلْ هَذَا دِينِي. This is my deen. Tell them this is my religion. This is my Islam. This is my truth. This is my book. He didn't describe it with any other language except this is my path. And all of you know a path is like a journey. So Islam itself is being described as a journey in this ayah. What does that mean? That means in any journey you have to make progress, right? So even if you take one step, you are more closer to your destination than the day before or the step before. Every single moment you are making progress in a journey. And in this ayah, Allah's Messenger says, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, this religion of mine and this religion of yours and ours, Islam, is a journey, which means I am supposed to do something more for this deen than I did yesterday. And I'm supposed to do more tomorrow and more tomorrow and more tomorrow. I'm supposed to go further.